Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. Eat your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 649, and today we're going to be talking about browsing privacy and tracking. This has been prompted by questions I've had and information I've seen being given about browsers you use, particularly in the context of the under 16-year-old social media ban that is about to go into place, if I'm right, when this episode goes out tomorrow. Day after tomorrow here in Australia. Okay, so in this episode, let me just put some caveats out there. I am not going to discuss the ban itself. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. I'm also not going to speculate about how the age verification will work because the law is still vague and implementation details really aren't clear. But what I do want to talk about is why browser privacy matters, what your browser shares by default, and why this matters more when verified identity systems are being built. The idea of this episode is that I'm going to give you some tools that hopefully reduce one layer of data collection and maintains your privacy in the whole scheme of things. Why does browser privacy matter more now than it did before? All right, well, first of all, let's talk about what tracking actually is. Then I'll get into answering that question because I need to set the context for it. Advertising networks track your browsing behavior across websites. When you visit a site that shows ads, the advertising network records that you were there. When you visit another site with their ads, they see you there too. When you visit another and another and another, they start to build a profile about you. And this is why when you browse sites looking at running shoes and you head back to Facebook, your feed becomes full of ads for running shoes or sporting equipment or fitness or whatever, anything related to running shoes. The advertising network has been tracking you across multiple sites and building a profile of your interests and behaviors, and that is then picked up. So because like Facebook uses the same advertising networks as some of your other places, it picks that all up and it goes, oh, this person was interested in running shoes. Let's remarket to them. If you've heard the term remarket, let's start feeding them up information so that they remember they were looking for these things and see if we can get them to buy something. Yeah, I know it's annoying, but there you have it. Now, why is this important now? Or what do I feel that this is more important now? Well, anonymous browsing has been the default. For years, that tracking was relatively anonymous. We created our usernames. We used fake names. We made up personas. When we logged into an account, essentially, we were logging into a persona. Maybe that persona was us, but maybe it was also something else, someone else, or another profile that we were using. We may have lied about our names, our ages, where we were located. It was anonymous. The advertising network knew that we were user 12345 looking at running shoes and visiting tech sites, but they didn't know that we were actually John Smith, aged 56, from Punchbowl, New South Wales, for example. We logged into those personas we created. We controlled the information we shared. The tracking happened, but it wasn't tied to our real verified identity. The point with verification is that it connects those personas to a real identity. Age verification for the under 16 social media ban and digital ID frameworks, as they're starting to come out, are starting to change that. When you're required to verify your identity to access services, that verification can connect your browsing activity to your real identity. The anonymous persona becomes tied to who you actually are. Reducing your browser tracking reduces what can be connected to your verified identity. This is just one layer of data collection that you actually still have control over. Now, the point is that it's your browsers that allow for that sharing to be done. So your browsers determine what gets shared. The browser you use chooses what you allow by default and what you can configure later. For example, Chrome and Edge allow third-party tracking by default because Google and Microsoft benefit from the advertising data. You can adjust the settings, but by default, the defaults for them are extremely permissive. Safari blocks third-party cookies and limits cross-site tracking data because Apple's business model is about selling hardware, not advertising. Firefox is probably, out of the mainstream browsers, the best option. It blocks known traffic trackers by default because Mozilla is a non-profit without an advertising business. The thing is that once you've chosen your browser, most people never change their defaults. So what your browser does automatically tends to be what protection you get. Now, if you're one of the ones that are sitting out there saying, but Charly, we've changed our settings, good on you, and you really should be doing it. You guys really need to take responsibility for what privacy these things let you have. There are privacy-focused browsers, though. Beyond these mainstream options that I just mentioned, there are browsers specifically built for privacy. DuckDuckGo browser blocks trackers and enforces encryption. Tor browser routes your traffic through multiple servers to minimize your browsing. Brave browser blocks ads and trackers by default while maintaining compatibility with websites. All of these browsers I just mentioned prioritize privacy over data collection, which means more aggressive blocking and less sharing by default. I want to talk very, very, very quickly about Brave because that's what I use, and I think it's probably the best of the group that I've mentioned. It's probably the best in the group in general at the moment. That doesn't mean that there isn't something better out there. It's just the one that I found that works really well. So Brave, as I mentioned, is a privacy-focused browser, but it's built on Chromium, which is the same open source engine that powers the Chrome browser and the Edge browser. It means that the Brave browser works like Chrome. Sites will load properly in general. Chrome extensions will work in general, but Brave strips out all of Google's tracking components and blocks ads and trackers by default. It's designed to give you Chrome compatibility, but with aggressive privacy protection that doesn't require configuration. Now, there are going to be some trade-offs if you head to using privacy-based browsers. I can speak more specifically to Brave because that's been my experience, but sometimes these browsers will break sites because they block the trackers and the sites need the trackers to work. Sometimes they block them so aggressively they just simply don't work properly. Login systems that rely on third-party cookies tend to fail. Embedded content doesn't load. Checkout processes break. This isn't the browser being buggy in and of itself. It's the browser doing what it's supposed to do and blocking tracking mechanisms that those sites use. Now, with Brave, at the very least, you can disable the blocking for specific sites. We call it taking the shields down. Shields are up. Generally, we take the shields down, and you've got choices as to how much you allow through. I tend to just sort of say, just disable it all. Is it working right now? Let's just start layering it to see which level will actually work and what breaks the site. Now, the point is that you are likely to encounter broken functionality more often if you're using a privacy-based browser than Chrome or Safari or one of the others. Honestly, my experience is it's less and less and less now, but it still happens every now and again. The other thing to consider is that you might still need other browsers for specific tasks. So some business applications really only work properly in one browser, for example, Chrome or Edge or Firefox. These might be video conferencing tools, collaboration platforms, online banking systems. They're tested in mainstream browsers and there might be issues with the less common ones. I see it less and less lately, but it is possible. It is why sometimes when you go to someone and you say, this isn't working, they say, can you test it in this browser? It's because they're not sure if there's a compatibility issue, if there's something there that just doesn't quite work, that Chrome does something that someone's coded for that no one has actually realized. And it's just one of those little things that come up. Honestly, I would recommend that you not only have a privacy focused browser, but you do have another one so you can test. Now look, Edge is installed standard on Windows boxes. I download Chrome as well and have it sitting there after I've adjusted all my privacy settings just in case I need it. Now you can actually sync devices across a lot of these browsers. So if you've got Chrome, you can put Chrome on your phone and it will sync what happens on your desktop with your phone and what happens on your phone with your desktop. You know, that works. The same with these privacy-based browsers. I'm going to talk specifically about Brave. Brave has got a great mobile browser. It does stop all of the trackers there as well. But the mobile sync for those only work within their own ecosystem. So Brave to Brave, Chrome to Chrome, Firefox to Firefox, for example. Okay, look, I've covered a few things here. I just wanted you to think about it. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that reducing browser tracking matters more when we have a verified identity system. What was anonymous tracking of user 12345 becomes tied to our real verified identity. Your browser is just one layer of data collection and you still have control over that. We don't know exactly how these age assurance and age verification systems are going to be implemented. We do know that they are being developed. We do know that there are protocols being put in place, even if they're not sure what they are. Reducing what our browsers share reduces what can be connected to our verified identity. Now, I just want to be really clear here because there's another one coming down the path to us here in Australia, and that's Australia's 2025 Search Engine Age Assurance Code, which requires age verification when you're going to be logged into one of your search engine accounts, like your Google account or your Bing account. Unfortunately, privacy-focused browsers are not going to bypass that requirement. All this is going to do is, as I said just then, it's going to reduce one layer of data collection, but it's not going to avoid these verification requirements. I may later, when I've got the brain space and the emotional space to do it, talk about that particular requirement and some of the things you might be able to do to protect yourselves further. But let's just leave that one there. So whether your privacy-focused browsing is worth it depends on how much you value reducing tracking versus your convenience. That's one thing that you also need to take away. There's another thing you need to take away. If you want to try Brave, you can download it at brave.com and try it for yourself. If the privacy benefit is worth the occasional friction, you should keep using it. Even if it's not quite worth it, keep using it, honestly. Yeah, I totally get, though, if it's too much hassle, there are other options, or you can just stick with what works for you. All right, guys, what do you think? Have you tried out these privacy-based browser options? Did you think about all of this stuff about the fact that once you start verifying identities, you're going to start tying your own browsing history back to who you are as a person, as a real person, not just the persona you put out there on the internet. I'm really interested to see where you guys are sitting with this, what you think about the ways that you can manage your privacy, protect your privacy, make sure you as a private citizen, private person are protected. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. If it was useful to you, please give it a like. I'd really like that. Should mention that if you're interested more in privacy stuff, I do have my VPNs 101 course out. It's absolutely free to you guys. No sign up or anything. Just go and view it on my website. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. If you haven't done so already, please do like the channel and subscribe to the like the channel and subscribe to it, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content, and I will see you with another one of these episodes the day after tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.